Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty crazy news to go and talk about over here, where we're now seeing a pretty big outrage again. Like, I feel like today's kind of been the day of outrage floating around, where we are now seeing a lot more drama in regards to Gotham Knights, which I was like a little bit excited for so far. I've had a chance to see the gameplay and all that, where they are now actually doing a massive downgrade on both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox versions. Now, maybe downgrade may not be the best word, but you'll see what I mean in a second here. And as well, just a lot of folks are disappointed. We haven't seen a lot of pre-order cancels. We're seeing people basically kind of somewhat judging that a next-gen title like this will only be running on 30 FPS. And just at the end of the day, I think a lot of folks are disappointed. I think I myself am too, because I feel like if I'm spending $500, plus also the money of a game, I want to have, especially on next-gen, Xbox and PlayStation 5, a good gaming experience. I want good frames, I want everything running good, I want to have a good time. So the fact that we're seeing this happen so close to launch too, by the way, which I definitely want to rant on that too, is somewhat disappointing. So we're going to talk about this, talk about Gotham Knights, and a few other little various things too as well. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have a $500 giveaway, just make sure you guys are subbed, or use the Twitter link down below, / the Twitch link for the bonus entries down below, Amazon links for the PS5 signups, and Target links for your local areas. And let's dive into the news. So, we had a very, very nifty Discord post, and I'm not sure why this company keeps on always posting on Discord, because it doesn't seem very, very nice. So to catch you guys up to speed, forever ago, this was a few months ago, Gotham Knights actually went and canceled their last gen. So PS4, Xbox One, they were like, nah, it's not going too good. We probably should have kept it, but you want to know what? Let's just focus on next gen. Next gen markets are getting pretty big, blah, blah, blah. And they said they had to prioritize and focus our efforts to deliver the game at a satisfying level of quality for current gen. The reason why I'm bringing up this before we go into the next topic is, once again, a satisfying level of quality. I don't think what they're offering right now is very much a satisfying level of quality, because everyone's upset, myself included, on what's going on with this. Now, I feel like this game is almost going to instantaneously flop just because of all the bad gaming PR already, with people already upset, people are being misled, people are assuming they got lied to. I don't think it's a good start as is. But then we also have the news that came out today where Gotham Knights on consoles, the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, will be running at 30 FPS. Sickening at this point, with also no performance mode available. So basically, as you guys have probably had a chance to see, games like Ratchet and Clank, they typically have, or even like Spider-Man, they'll have things like performance mode. We can basically run the game with way higher frames. They have the 4K, 30 FPS, which makes sense. You kind of pick more quality and resolution and more details, and you run at a more consistent lower frame rate. Well, I think that's fine. But the big thing is you want to have options. We have a $500 console, which is, and also relatively still newer, so the tech is still higher up there. It's almost like despicable to kind of go and see that it's stuck at 30 FPS, especially when you got rid of the prior gen. Now, at this point, if they were like, hey, we'll have 30 FPS on PS4 and Xbox One, okay, I can see that. That hardware is getting old, and you're kind of just taking what you can. I can kind of get that. But on this next gen, where people still can't even go and somehow buy it, it's somewhat disappointing. So we have a statement over here from Flora Marty, saying, hello at everyone. I know many of you are wondering about the availability of a performance mode for Gotham Knights on consoles. So just think multiple various settings of high quality, performance, whatever. Due to the types of features we have in our game, like providing a full untethered co-op experience in our highly detailed open world, it's not as straightforward as lowering the resolution and getting a higher FPS. For this reason, our game does not have a performance/quality toggle option, and the one biggest, saddest piece of news will be running at 30 FPS on consoles. So you guys can probably kind of see just by the Discord reactions over here, where we have number one's a thumbs up. You always have the nice people who are gonna favorite tweets, just be nice, whatever, that's fine. But then number two, and this kind of where the ratio comes in, the sad emojis, more thumbs down than thumbs up. That's awful to go and see. We're seeing angry emojis over there. We're seeing the angry rage emojis. I think that's maybe a sad Spider-Man or maybe a sad Deadpool. I'm not sure. We're seeing the sad surprised weeb emotes. So people going on there with skull emojis on top of this. The middle finger has 21 some people are like the shrug on like whatever, that's okay, that's fine. I can't get over the middle finger one. That's hilarious. But as you guys can see, just a lot of folks are very upset. We've even seen like things up on like Reddit too saying, as of recently, did I make a mistake pre-ordering Gotham Knights? And we're seeing people up on Twitter making similar statements where they even say, yikes, I'm a newbie to the gaming world, and they got suckered into one of the weird games out here. I think a lot of people are comparing this game probably to the Avengers, where the Avengers themselves are probably like, it was an okay game, but okay and average, or like an okay average co-op game, doesn't really instill much confidence or make it seem like the game is worth that much money. So basically they said they played Arkham City and Asylum back in the day, and there was a huge hiatus from gaming, and now they just want to dive into games themselves. But I'm even more kind of curious to what they're even playing on, because I'm not sure if they have an updated PC or console or whatever. So they saw these 60 FPS things, so that's what we talked about before just then, and comments were about how people know is going to play this game, and it will be on clearance in a year. Now, I think a year is being generous. I think this game will probably, especially if it flops, and so far, like, PR and first impressions are really good in life, but especially in video games, and so far there's been a lot of negative reception with this game. Like, the early gameplay demos were mediocre, the early gameplay in general is mediocre, these comments now that it's locked at 30 FPS, there's, like, basically no big major characters, which I think that's not a bad selling point. But if you have nothing like a Batman or like, big characters like a Robin, or I think Robin actually might be in it, but like you have all these bigger characters that are not involved in like a Batman game in Gotham Knights, you're kind of like, well, that's going to be harder to go and sell. Plus, if you have all this bad negative PR, also doesn't help. So they're like, hey, should I even go and cancel the pre-order? They don't have a lot of money. And everyone's like, yeah, everyone's like, bro, just cancel. Like, bro, if you want the game, just buy it when it comes out. And I've always been on the same total biscuit, like throwback to the OG, may he rest in peace, of there's kind of no real big reason to usually pre-order games. Like, typically, if it's digital, they're not going to run out of game copies if it's a digital game. Now, I can maybe see it for limited editions if you really think you're going to like the game or you want collectibles. Like, I get that. I totally get that. Like, don't get me wrong. But for like a normal, just casual $60 game that you will, no matter what, be able to buy online from like the PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, or whatever, yeah, it's not worth the pre-order, man. It's never worth it. Not worth locking in your money. Not all that stuff. It's not really good for that too as well. But yeah, so everyone is just upset. Like, we're seeing callouts on Twitter too as well. Like here, I can't decide if I'm more disappointed by the fact it's only 30 or that they were clearly trying to keep that a secret. And that's like the last big major point I want to make. This game is coming out within weeks, like within days. And you have a huge major announcement like this right before the game comes out and pre-orders are probably already locked on in. That's like despicable. Now, if you would have said this, like, you know how they have like this article over here on May, and they're kind of getting like a lot of attention. If they would have included this same comment, like, hey, we might, like, the game's gonna be big, we want to make sure the multiplayer is good, and if they can kind of get ahead of the curve and set a really good PR push, that might be fine. Like, granted, people want the FPS if you're having these consoles, but like I said, at the end of the day, if you go and we're like, hey, this is gonna be a really big open world, we want to make sure the loading times are like bare minimum, like, just in case, maybe cross-play or whatever, you can maybe go and get people on your side and be like, yeah, just get used to it. We make sure the game we want to make sure the game runs good. And I think if you would have pushed that mindset, most people would have been like, all right, like, I'd rather have a 30 FPS game that works than a sometimes 60 FPS game that has issues or bugs or long loading times. Like, it just kind of depends on, like, the clientele you're trying to push. But the fact that they did this, as I mentioned, just a few days beforehand, too, like, this game, that's just disappointing, man. Like, a lot of people too as well, like, a lot of people are saying also 30 FPS just isn't good enough, and I agree. Like, if we're spending all this money on these consoles and we want to have all this development time, give me 60 FPS. Like, make sure you can optimize your game and make sure it's good. But like I said, like, they're even calling out Marvel's Avengers that was co-op and kind of a big style game and everything too with 60 FPS. People are like, yo, there's a year-long delay, canceled the latest gen last gen versions, 4K 30 on next gen. Like, everyone is like, oh my god. How are they going to make a game that both looks and plays like booty and claim they can't work in the 60 FPS for new-gen consoles? Might cancel my pre-order, and then you could see the tweet right after with the good old solid canceled right after. People are like easy choice too as well. And they're like pathetic in this day and age and very sly to try to keep quiet. Like, this is, yeah, I agree. Like, if you would have mentioned this and were open with it before and people were okay with it, that'd be fine. Like, in my day, honest to God, that's fine. But man, It makes me sad. Like, it's just schemy, man. It's just schemy. It's not like good schemes. It's like the bad schemes. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on in case you guys want to for the $500 giveaway, Xbox, PS5, or just cash itself. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below. We have the Weeble, Target, and Amazon links too. And let me know your thoughts and comments on today as well.